Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen. I post new videos every week. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing my September TBR. So I have a few books that I am hoping to read in the month of September that I wanted to talk about. I haven't filmed a TBR video since like the beginning of summer. I did like a summer TBR video that was meant to be all the books I wanted to read in the months of June, July, and August. We can just pretend that video doesn't exist because I doubt that I even read any of those books. I mean, I know I read some of them, but there's so many books I know I talked about in that I didn't read. But anyway, I wanted to get back into doing like monthly TBR videos. So yeah, let's just get into all the books that I want to read in September. So the first book, this is like one of my most anticipated books of the whole year, and it's The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. So this book follows Rosie and Lucas, who are both in The Spanish Love Deception, which is also by Elena Armas, and I've talked about it before. I loved that book. I read it last summer and I thought it was so cute, so I've been so excited to read this one. So yeah, this one comes out I think on September 6th, so I'm planning to read it as soon as it comes out. I know that the two main characters are the best friend and cousin of the main character from The Spanish Love Deception, so they're both staying in the same apartment temporarily, and I believe the main character is writing a book, so the male main character Lucas, he helps her out with that, and like they kind of fake date because she's writing a romance book. So it just sounds like the perfect like cute little rom-com, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see like the snippets of Lena and Aaron. I'll definitely be reading it this month for sure. A lot of the time I put books in my TBRs and I like don't read them, so this one is one I will for sure be reading, like 100%. Like I'm gonna read it literally the day it comes out. I'm gonna get it and start reading it, hopefully. Next, I want to finally read the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher. I have been putting this series on TBRs for so long. I keep talking about it and keep saying that I'm gonna read it, and I really want to read it like so badly. I always see people talking about this series and everyone just loves it so much, so I'm excited to get into them. I really want to get into them. I literally have the first book downloaded on my Kindle. Like I'm ready to read it soon, so hopefully this month I'll finally get started on this series. The next book I want to read is Fuel the Fire by Kristen Becca Ritchie. This is the 8th book in the Addicted and Calorie Sister series. So the last book that I read was obviously Addicted After All, and I read that one back in June. I have been wanting to finish this series. I've been like really looking forward to getting into this book. I almost read it in the month of August. Like I almost picked it up. I've read like the first couple of pages, but I just like I didn't feel like it. I didn't want to get into it yet, so I'm hoping to get into it in September, especially because I started this series in November of last year, so we're almost at a year since I started it, and I want to finish the series by the end of the year for sure. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but I really want to read this one in September. And then of course the next book on my TBR is Long Way Down, which is the 9th book in the series. So this one, I want to read it soon, but I also like don't want to rush into it. I'm excited to get to it because I love Daisy and Reich, but I feel like after I read Fuel of Fire, I'm probably gonna end up taking another break from the series, at least for like a couple weeks or something, and I'm probably not gonna read this one like immediately after. It just depends how I feel. I've been doing that with all the books. I usually take breaks between all of them. So with this one, I am going to be putting it on my September TBR, but I'm not positive that I'll get to it. Whereas Fuel of Fire, I do really want to get to that one. Like that one's a priority for me. This one, I'm just adding it because it's possible that I'll read it. The next book that I have on my list that I would like to possibly read this month is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This one would obviously be a reread for me, but since It Starts With Us comes out in October, I want to reread It Ends With Us before that. If I don't read it this month, I'll definitely read it in October because I'm for sure going to reread it before It Starts With Us. Also, my cousin just read this book. As she was reading it, she kind of was like talking to me about it. I don't feel like I read it, but I feel like things kind of got refreshed for me and I kind of remember what happens anyway. So because of that, I kind of want to put it off for like a few more weeks just so it's not too fresh in my mind, you know? But yeah, I definitely want to reread this one soon. The next book that I want to read, I've been seeing so many people talk about it. It's just been like blowing up on TikTok and I can't wait to get into this book, but it's Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I actually just bought this book. I want to get into it. I know it's like a whole series. That's what kind of worries me because I don't know, like I don't think they end on cliffhangers, so I don't like that it's not complete. Like there's still so many books left. The third one like just came out, so it kind of worries me that it's like not complete yet, but I also feel like everyone's reading it and I don't want to like miss that hype of like everyone talking about it and reading it, so I want to go ahead and read it now. I've been looking forward to it. I heard it's so good. I heard it's very like toxic, kind of like Gossip Girl vibes, I guess. But I'm excited for it. I definitely want to get into it soon. Like I said, I just purchased it recently. I also feel like I'm gonna like it, and I feel like it's one of those books that I have to be prepared to like buy the next two as soon as I'm done with it. The next book is one that I have brought up many times before, but it's Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I've put this in TBR videos and I just keep talking about it and I keep saying I'm gonna read it. I don't know what it is. I just keep putting it off. I think partially because it's just such a long book, and I read Rock Bottom Girl, which is also by Lucy Score, and that book was really long and it was a little too long, so I feel like I'm a little little bit worried because of how long this one is that I'm gonna feel that same way where it's just like too long and it's gonna take me forever to read it. But I've also heard it's amazing. And I also see people finish it like so quickly, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm excited to read it. I just haven't done it yet, but I will be reading it. I know she just announced like the second book. She just revealed the title for it. It doesn't come out till next year, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I just want to read this one because I feel like the hype for it was kind of like a few months ago, like everyone was talking about it and reading it, and I kind of missed it. But yeah, I definitely want to try to read it this month. The next book is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, another one that I constantly bring up and keep saying I'm gonna read. I don't know why I haven't. I think partially because it's a hardcover and I don't really pick up hardcovers very often, but I want to read this one. I have heard it's so good. I've heard it's so cute. I convinced my cousin to buy it at the bookstore even though I've never read it, so like she bought it, so I feel like I should read it now, and that way I can convince her to read it too after. But I feel like this book is gonna be so cute. I will definitely be reading it soon. I don't know why I haven't. Like I wanted to read it in the summer and I just like it didn't happen, but I'm gonna read it this month, hopefully. My thing is, I tend to like have these like popular books that I want to read. Like all of these books I've listed are like these like popular books that I hear really good things about, but I feel like what happens is I try to find like other books because I'm just like not in the mood to read these yet, or like a lot of the time there's like a lot of hype around them, so I'm like worried to read them, and so I try to find like other books that aren't like as popular, but then I find that that doesn't really work for me because then I end up finding like random books to read and then they're like not very good. So I feel like I need to stop doing that and just like finally read these books that everyone says are so good, because they're probably going to be amazing and I'm going to love them, rather than trying to force myself to read books that I don't really see people talk about and then they end up not being very good. But anyway, the next book that I want to read is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. The other day, I don't know why, I just randomly had like this motivation to read it, so now I feel like there's a good chance that I'll read it soon, so that's why I decided to put it on my September TBR. So we'll see, hopefully I'll get to it. This one makes me think of fall. I don't know, I feel like the cover just looks like fall, because I guess she's wearing a flannel and a beanie and all the trees and everything. So yeah, so I feel like this is a good fall read, even though it's not fall yet, but it's almost fall. So I feel like now is a good time to read it. So we'll see, hopefully I'll get to it. I'm excited to read it though. I've heard that this one is really good. The next book is Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This one just came out. I don't have a copy of it yet, but I want to read it very soon just because I loved The Love Hypothesis, and so I really want to read this one. I've heard it's really good, especially if you enjoyed The Love Hypothesis. Apparently this one is just as enjoyable, like you'll like this one too. So I'm excited to read it. I've been seeing a lot of people enjoy this book. This one was one of my anticipated reads for the year, so I know I want to get into it as soon as I can. So those are all the books on my September TBR. I feel like I tried to keep it realistic and not super ambitious and actually share books that I think I will read this month, because I feel like there's been times in the past where I put way too many books, or I shared books that I felt like I probably wasn't gonna read, but I knew I wanted to read them, even though realistically I probably wasn't gonna get to them. So I feel like this month I did a good job at keeping it like realistic and everything. So I'm excited for these books. I'll see how everything goes. Hopefully I enjoy them all. Definitely let me know any of your thoughts if you've read these books or if you're planning to read them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked this and you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would stick around and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.